There are over 8 billion people on this planet, and more than 1.3 billion pet dogs and cats living inside our homes. But here's the part that's actually strange. Most of these animals do nothing for us. They don't hunt, they don't guard a farm, they don't pull a cart. In a species that optimizes everything, we've decided to keep 1.3 billion animals around just to have them near us. So what is that doing to us? Today we're looking at how living with a pet quietly changes your brain and personality. You know the feeling. You've had the kind of day where everything went wrong. You open the door, and before you've even said a word, there's a dog losing its mind like you just won an Olympic medal, or a cat that pretends not to care but is somehow suddenly sitting on your laptop, and something in your chest just unclenches. That's not just "oh," that's a measurable chemical event. Let's talk about what's actually happening. When you're stressed, your body pumps out a hormone called cortisol. It's the "stay alert, something's wrong" chemical. Useful for surviving danger, terrible for surviving Tuesday. Studies on pet owners have found something consistent. Petting a dog or cat for even a few minutes measurably lowers cortisol and raises oxytocin, the same bonding hormone your brain releases when you hug someone you love or when a parent holds a newborn. Your pet isn't just distracting you from stress. Biologically, your body is treating that interaction like bonding with family. That's the part people don't expect. You're not imagining the comfort. Your nervous system is quite literally standing down. In 2024, the largest study of its kind, funded by the NIH, following over 150 military veterans with PTSD, gave one group a trained service dog and left the other on a wait list. After 3 months, the veterans with dogs had 66% lower odds of still meeting the clinical criteria for PTSD compared to the group without one. And it wasn't just emotional. Researchers even measured their cortisol, the stress hormone from earlier, and found it was more regulated in veterans who had a service dog than in those still waiting for one. That's an extreme case. Most of us aren't dealing with PTSD, but it shows the mechanism at its most powerful. This isn't a placebo. It's a real physiological effect that just happens to be gentler in daily life than it is in a lab. Here's where it gets more personality level. Caring for something that depends on you completely, that can't explain what's wrong, that just needs you to notice, seems to train a kind of attentiveness. Pet owners often become better at reading subtle emotional cues in animals and in people. You start noticing tension in a room the way you'd notice your dog's ears go back. It also rewires your sense of responsibility. A living thing needs you at 7 a.m. whether you slept or not. That's a small, repeated lesson in showing up for someone else, and it doesn't stay contained to the pet. People who live with animals often describe becoming more patient, more routine-driven, more tuned in to others in general. But that same bonding chemistry means loss hits hard. Grief researchers have found that losing a pet can trigger a grief response that's neurologically similar to losing a close family member. Your brain built that attachment for real. It doesn't do a lighter version of goodbye. And there's a quieter effect too. Because a pet's love is unconditional and endlessly forgiving, some people find it easier to invest in a relationship that never argues back, which can make the messier, more demanding work of human relationships feel like more effort than it's worth. Your mind doesn't just gain something here, it recalibrates what easy love feels like. So no, pets aren't just company. They're lowering your stress chemistry in real time, training your empathy, restructuring your sense of responsibility, and quietly resetting what your brain expects from love. And 1.3 billion of us have opted into that, mostly without thinking about it twice. If this made you look at your own pet a little differently, let me know in the comments.